So the citation is for the straddling lanes / improper lane usage.
This vehicle right here. He's going over this lane marker. He swerves back over the right lane without using a blinker. And then as I'm pulling up next to him, he slams on his brakes.
Okay, first off, I deny everything. I want to see that video.
Here's a quickie from Judge Urich in Royal Oak, Michigan. The defendant, who appears via telephone only, is pretty butthurt that he isn't able to watch the dashcam video this officer is about to play. A video that clearly shows his vehicle committing the civil infractions for which he was cited. Let's roll, nerds.
The court calls case number 25RO00523. This is people of the city of Royal Oak versus Linus Roberts Ratliff. Mr. Ratliff, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Good morning again, Mr. Ratliff. You were present earlier when the court explained the informal hearing process, true?
Yes.
So you heard the court instruct you must select from one of three options to protect your rights, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Ratliff, the citation before the court was issued January 25th this year at about 10 minutes of 11 in the evening. You were operating a 2004 Chevrolet black in color on Woodward Avenue, M1 at or near 11 Mile Road in the city of Royal Oak. And at that place and time, you committed the civil infraction of straddling lanes. Officer Cole's remark, which appears on your ticket, indicates driving southbound Woodward, passing 11 Mile Road, straddling lane marker, going into other lane. Defendant said he couldn't see out of his windshield due to dirt. So the citation is for presumably, Officer Cole, the straddling lanes / improper lane usage, correct?
That's what it says on the ticket.
I was asking the officer. Officer Cole?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. So, Mr. Ratliff, you have three options. You may admit responsibility in this matter. You can admit and explain, or you can deny responsibility, will swear the parties and take testimony. What would you like the court to do for you?
Well, the whole thing goes. I have a problem with the illegal lane usage switch. I was on my left hand. So
I'm here, Mr. Ratliff. I'm just what I need you to do. Can you hear the court, sir?
yes, I can hear it very well. Yes.
Okay. Before you really are well advised to offer an explanation, you need to make a choice. So you can either admit and explain, or if you don't think you did anything wrong, you can deny responsibility and we'll take testimony. What would you like the court to do?
I deny everything.
Very well. That is your right and your privilege. Would the parties please raise their right hands? Do you both solemnly swear the testimony you shall give before this court should be the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Ratliff?
Yes.
Yes? Thank you very much. The officer has the burden of proof, and then it'll be your turn, sir. Go ahead, Officer Cole.
Yes, Your Honor. On January 25th, 2025 at approximately 10:50 p.m., I noticed a Chevy Tahoe black in color displaying Michigan plate ES driving southbound Woodward in the far left lane, passing 11 Mile, and he was straddling his lane marker. I decided to follow him and activated my vehicle's dash cam. As I was following him, he straddled into the right lane next to him without using a blinker multiple times. He was also straddling into the left shoulder. As he was straddling the lane lines, I did pull up next to him to see if he was possibly on his phone texting. As I pulled up next to him, he slammed on his brakes. Therefore, I activated my lights. The female passenger that was with him began to scream at me, saying that out of the window, saying that they were grub hubbing. So I told them out of my window to pull over. When I spoke with the defendant, the driver of the vehicle, being Linus Ratliff, he told me that he couldn't see out of his windshield due to dirt and debris. I decided to write him for straddling lanes, and I did not write him on the obstruction of windshield because I wanted to cut him a slight break. I also have this incident on dash camera if you'd like to see it, Your Honor.
If you have it queued up, that would be fine. Good morning.
Sure, give me one moment.
Sure.
Can you see my screen, sir?
You are live.
Okay,
Um,
are you seeing evidence,
Judge Urich.
dashcam?
Yeah, okay,
Okay, I'm good to press play?
sure.
Okay. So here's my patrol vehicle. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but his vehicle is up here where my mouse is pointed.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see up here, he was driving slower, other vehicles were braking, and he was
Oh,
slowly
I'm sorry. I was
swerving
focusing
into the
on the
lane.
lighter colored vehicle. Okay.
Would you like me to rewind?
Can you back us up to Trader Joe's where it started?
So it's gonna be this vehicle right here. He's going over this lane marker,
Mm-hmm.
and then he swerves to the other side. And then right here, he swerves back over the right lane without using a blinker, and then goes back into his lane. I'll mute it. And then he straddles the lane again. This is when I pull up next to him to see if he's on his phone. In just a second here.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. And then as I'm pulling up next to him, he slams on his brakes. That's when I activate my overhead lights.
All right. Do you have anything further you wish the court to know before we hear from Mr. Ratliff?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ratliff, it's your turn. What do you wish the court to know?
Okay, first off, I want to see that video. I can't see
Say
it
that
because I'm
again?
called. I want to see that video because I didn't get to see the video. The way I was looking at it and the way she was looking at it, we was looking at it at two different angles. She was all the way onto my right hand side, and it's like I have to do most of the stuff by memory, and it's like, wow, okay. But I just want to see the video because I had video too, because there was somebody out there videotaping her also. So she was all the way to my back right. And so I was just having a problem with how could she see me straddling the line, and she was so far back on my right-hand side. And so how could she see my left side? I understand she got video, but I would like to see the video personally. So then if it...
And the court appreciates your remark. However, today is your hearing date. All the parties are present here, ready to proceed. If you wanted to see the video, your other options would have been to be on a device that would have permitted you to see video, or you could actually come into the court and you could participate in the proceedings by being lent one of the court's iPads and participating in that fashion. Do you have any other testimony you wish the court to be aware of, Mr. Ratliff?
Oh no, I'm not gonna get a fair shake. I can just tell you this right now. I can tell by the way you did that. It's like I'm not gonna get a fair shake. I'm not. What I have a problem with is how could somebody be all the way over there and watch me swerve in the lane like that? That's why I have a problem.
Mr. Ratliff, because you're at the disadvantage that you don't see what the court was able to see. First of all, the court is in an entirely separate branch of government from the police department. This 44th District Court sits over the cities of both Berkeley and Royal Oak. The court is the umpire. The court calls the balls and strikes. And it's unfortunate if you think you're quote unquote not getting a fair shake when in point of fact you are. That being said, had you been here, what you might have been able to see is what the court just saw, which is the officer's vantage point displayed through the lens and captured by video. The court also makes note of the fact that traffic enforcement dates back to 1893 before they invented film. So film is
Yeah.
not necessary, but it is a helpful tool. Any rebuttal, or strike that, anything else you want the court to know, Mr. Ratliff?
What about my due process?
Due process. He got his due process already. It sucks for him that he doesn't like it, but that's what happens when you show up on the phone to a hearing that you want to watch the video.
The court just explained that to you. Anything else
Right.
you want the court to know about Mr. Ratliff?
Yeah. For that view, I got a problem with it. I just have a little bit of problem with that view. I wasn't on my phone or anything like that. It's like, to just pick somebody out like that, that's questionable also, because, there's other cars. There was a lot of other cars in the pileup. It was somebody on my left-hand side also. That's why I want to see the visual, because there was somebody on my left-hand side. So when I'm coming in, they were going to my left, and so it made me kind of like move over. So it really wasn't me trying to straddle. It was like me trying to avoid off another vehicle. So it wasn't like about that I was coming in trying to swerve and all that type of stuff. I'm telling you the truth. I didn't see the officer at all, and so I would have really, really straightened up. But when I looked to my left-hand side, there was another car coming in my view, so it pulled me back over to my lane. And I wasn't doing it deliberately to spark her. And as I was telling her, I said, I just turned in. I said, maybe it might have been my view of the window, but really it was the person coming through my bottom of my left-hand side. That was my only problem with it. No, I don't have no problem with the ticket, but it was like she didn't give me a chance. He was on me. He was all the way on me, like, no, you didn't do this. No, you didn't do that. So I didn't want to spark an argument or anything out there because there was too many cars out there. And I was trying to pull her in by pushing my car, and she told me don't even touch the car. So I didn't move the car at all. And so it's like there was a lot of aggression. And so I felt like backing up, because that's how things go when you see a heated situation going to another boiling point. I just stopped and just, boom, left everything alone. And so it's just a lot of stuff that I felt like it wasn't right for me. It felt like I was very uncomfortable. It was like a very like a forceful situation. So I did anything. I said anything, and I did anything just to get out of that situation, so then I wouldn't create more problem. It's not nothing against staff or anything like that. I just want to just get out the problem. But then when I finally, in hindsight, when I looked at everything and I thought about everything, and I seen the other video that my girl had videoed, it was like a whole different ball game on what had happened. And then you said you seen the video, and that's why I would say, hey, if there was a way that I could have seen the video, I would have said hands down, this, or no, it was a problem, I'll put it on myself. But I do believe there was another car on my left-hand side coming from up under me that made me swerve off.
You mentioned that. Okay.
And I just don't want to keep on dwelling on it, but that was just my whole thing.
All right. I appreciate your remarks, Mr. Ratliff. Officer Cole, rebuttal testimony, if any.
Your Honor, you saw the video clear as day. You saw the violations, multiple violations clear as day. When I had approached him to ask why he had been straddling his lanes, he made no mention of another vehicle coming into his lane, causing him to have to swerve for safety. He told me the reason he did that is because he could hardly see out of his windshield due to dirt and debris on his windshield. I did bring up, do you think it's smart or safe to be driving if you can't see out of your windshield? And he said, well, I'm grub hubbing and I'm going to get it cleaned. So, Your Honor, other than that, I have nothing further.
Thank you very much. The court has heard the testimony of both parties. While we are in an informal hearing setting, we do obey the rules of evidence and procedure, and the court appreciates the candor of all parties. The court is convinced by the preponderance of the evidence standard, which is a mere 50.1% standard, that Mr. Ratliff is responsible for the civil infraction, and therefore the court does find Mr. Ratliff responsible. The fine for that, Mr. Ratliff, is $130. That is payable through the pay portal on the court's website, or you can walk a cash check or charge into this court, 400 East 11 Mile Road, Monday through Friday between 8:30 and 4:30. That is due within 7 days. If you wish to appeal the court's ruling, you may do so by posting a cash bond in the amount of $130 within 7. The matter will be placed on the formal hearing docket of the chief judge of the district, and the city at that time would be represented by city attorney Ryan Kaluzny. So either as a bond or a fine, $130 within 7. Thank you for your patience. Please drive safely. Have a good day.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoy watching this content, please like and subscribe. It helps new channels like this one gain exposure. There is a lot more good court to come, so if you like what you saw, tell your friends. If you didn't, tell me, and let me know what you'd like to see and how I can improve. Thanks.